Question: what is the Vigyanamaya kosha? The 5 cognitive senses along with the intellect constitutes the Vigyanamaya kosha. Which are the 5 cognitive senses and the intellect? They have been mentioned in the previous description of the subtle body. What is the nature of intellect? Now pay attention. In the state of deep sleep, the intellect along with the Chidabhasa, the reflection of Brahma, is in state of dissolution. In the wakeful state, it exists through the body from the tip of the nails to the crown of the head and is the doer of all functions carried out through the body. When is intellect existing or working? It's only in the wakeful state, Jagrat Avastha. Not in dreams and not in deep sleep. And this intellect is jada. So intellect has this reflection of Chaitanya, which we call the Chid Abhasa. Bhasa is the reflection. But this in deep sleep goes into dissolution, not destruction, it's dissolution, not functioning. But in the wakeful state, it is the intellect which decides what to do, how to lie, how to deceive, how to make stories, how to make excuses to save your own skin and get what is comfortable and nicer to you. You know, intellect is a great manipulator. Long ago in this ashram, there were many people who would make excuses not to come into yoga asanas. So they would say, oh, my stomach is hurting. I said, okay, so you should observe fast today. The stomach is hurting, so you should not eat anything. Naturopathy says don't eat anything. And I would ask somebody to give this person, just to supervise this person gets a Kunjal Kriya done. And maybe make this person do the Shankh Prakshalan. The stomach is upset, something wrong. Some bacteria is there, should be flushed out. And Shankh Prakshalan is the best yogic technique to do that. Now, that person had made a blunder by lying to the Guru. But Guru is smart enough to settle the score. So I would make some person supervise. This person will do. And then after Shankh Prakshalan, you are supposed to eat khichdi, and that too is unsalty. Everybody is eating puri, kachori and whatnot. And now this person is getting 1.5 hours of the kriya, and then followed by khichdi. Then next whole week, no tea, no pickle, no fried. So if you lie, you will be punished, but in a very nice yogic way. Many individuals, I was so weak in the morning, and I'm happy. My body is fine in dinner after 12 o'clock. I said, well, nice, that's a good thing. So how many asanas you do in the morning? They say usually we do the 5 Surinam. Okay, now you do 12 in the evening. So you do 5 in the morning, but you do 12 in the evening. That will exhaust your body enough to sleep nicely like a log of wood, and then surely you will wake up also early. So then your body will be very energetic. So you do the 1 hour series in the morning and then another 12 set of Surya Namaskaras in evening. Guruji will settle the score. क्या बोले ना, जैसा बीजोगे वैसा मिल जाएगा. But then that breaks them. And then they run away. And sometimes I would used to wonder, did I do maybe too harsh? But I think so it's good that I be harsh in the beginning so that I don't have good for nothing disciples here. It's a good for nothing then. Because what's the objective? if you can't work hard, what's the objective? This is not a resort where you have happy good time and eat good 3 meals and rest nicely in your bed and have a good walk in the green gardens. I'm not your servant to provide you all this and pay your bills. So who deserves to be in this ashram? Only that person who is ready to work hard onto oneself, onto its mind, onto the senses, and has that great fire in the belly. I don't wish to waste my life. So see, the mind and the intellect are the basic culprits. And see, mind loves its freedom, right? There's a beautiful Zen story which I read. A person goes and says to the master, "Master, please accept me as your student." Master says, "On one condition, we have a rule here." And what's the rule? He said, "Rule is this: whatever you like, you will not be permitted to do that. And whatever you don't like, you will be made to do that." One rule, just one rule. Whatever you like, you will not be allowed to do that. And whatever you don't like, you will be made to do that. Can you do this? I'll think, Master. I'll prepare myself and then come to you. Master said, "Okay, take your good time. You have very long life. You take all the time you need. No problem, I'm not in a rush. But why waste my time? Why?" Question. I am distinct from Vigyanamaya kosha. How does one realize this? As the intellect is prone to a state of dissolution, it is subject to destruction, just as a clay pot which will break one day. I am not prone to a state of dissolution. I am indestructible and distinct from it. Thus I am not the Vigyanamaya kosha and it's not mine. It belongs to subtle body and I am nor the Ātman who is distinct from it. In this manner, know that Vigyanamaya kosha and I are distinct. Question. What is Anandmaya kosha? When one receives the fruits of previous good deeds. Now, again, pay attention very, very minutely. When you receive the fruits of your previous good deeds, the punya, in that moment the intellect's vritti is the modification of the mind or the wave of the mind. The intellect's vritti turns inward. This introversion stills the intellect, and in that stillness it experiences the reflection of ever blissful Ātman. Now this is just a reflection which is happening. Know this. This is not the real self. This is just the reflection. So reflection of the self in this vritti gives you the happiness. Whether it is of some object external or whether it is of deep sleep. What you experience on the stilling of this vritti of intellect is called Sukha. Sukha. Which will turn into dukkha. Happiness into misery. Because it is conditional to the stillness of the vritti. And that happens just for a few seconds sometimes, and nothing more than that. And in that few seconds, this coffee is great, this husband is great, this food is great, this house is great, this swim is great, this cloth is great, all those things. But after just a few minutes or so, the thing is there, but that happiness is gone. Then actually we wish to drag it. And that's why the lovebirds have this equation problem. Oh, she seemed such a beauty until I married her, and now how could I be so wrong? And the same man which seemed like the Casanova, the god of love, who seemed like an animal or a fool, who doesn't have a sense of maybe finance or aesthetics or etiquettes or whatnot, is not intelligent enough, or then they begin to find those flaws in one another. And that creates friction and fights. And if both are hot-tempered, the frictions will be too many. If the one person is little milder and the other person will keep on suffering, then so one becomes the abuser in name of love, and the other gets abused in name of love, and this goes on and on and on. My love goes on and on and on, and then they both die. Actually, one dies. And see, women only survived, even in Titanic. It's a man who died. Women still survived. No wonder all the books written by the males have so unkind words for the women. So when the vritti turns inward and this introversion stills the intellect, and this gives the reflection, and this is what all worldly pleasures are, just because of this. This is the fundamental principle of why you feel pleasure in anything. It's the stillness of your vritti, right? And that's reflection of the Ātman, which is Ananda. But reflection is, remember, not Ananda, but still we say it is like a happy or a joyful experience. That which is Priya, Mod, Pramod. Now these can be of three categories, this experience. After cessation of the fruits of the previous good karma, this introverted vritti of the intellect dissolves. Then the rich man is left with riches, and yet he commits suicide. The sukha, the happiness in the world, is all happening because of this good karmas giving you the reward. That object which you wanted, you get, stills the mind, reflection of Ātman, you feel pleasure. But when that virtuous karma exhausts itself, your vritti is disturbed. Right? What is the nature of Anandmaya kosha? The Anandmaya kosha can be comprehended through the analogy of a bird with respect to its head and wings. The mind takes on the form of different emotions while pursuing various subjects. These modifications are referred to as vritti. When one has a glimpse of a cherished object, a wave of endearment arises. This wave is known as Priya vritti and is symbolized by the head of the bird. This is using the example, the model of a bird. So what's the head? Head is the Priya vritti. Then on acquiring the desired object, a wave of delight arises, which is called Moda vritti. This is the right wing of the bird. Right wing. On indulgence of the desired object, a wave of intense delight arises, which is called Pramoda. Pra means more expansive. It's the same Moda vritti, but now more expansive. This is the left wing of the bird. That whose nature is the reflection of Ananda, inherent essence of the Ātman, in the intellect or vritti of Ajnana, is Anandamaya kosha. It's the reflection of Ananda in the vritti of intellect or agyan. Intellect is born of agyan, not knowing. Yeah, so it is in agyan, or you can call. So all the sansari, the worldly sukha, is actually sukha of agyan. That whose founding substratum is Ananda Swarupa, ever blissful essence, is Ātman. That Ātman is the Anandmaya kosha. Now this will be the fifth and the final scabbard, the sword called Ātman. Right? So Anandmaya, Vigyanamaya, Manomaya, Pranmaya and these are five. I am distinct from the Anandmaya kosha. How does one realize this? Anandmaya kosha is temporal. Right or wrong? Temporal. Just like clouds in the sky appear and disappear, thus it is momentary. I am always present, hence I am eternal. Therefore, I am not the Anandamaya kosha. When it is not mine, it belongs to the causal body, and I am the knower, Ātman, who is distinct from it. In this manner, know that Anandmaya kosha and I are distinct. If not the five sheaths, who is the Ātman? Now there you go. It's a tough thing. Because you consider body as me, senses as me, mind as me, intellect as me. This is your experience. And Vedanta is nullifying that. Wrong. That's not you, that's not you, that's not you. Then what is Ātman? The one that abides as a reflection in the intellect, the one who is referred to with words such as Priya, such is the Anandmaya kosha, which is the reflection of its cause, Ananda, which is eternal, and thus is the Ātman. So who is Priya? Now let's say everything is for me. See, democracy is for the people, by the people. For and by. Family is for me. Food is for me. Wealth, money is for me. Everything is for me. Why is this me so important? Because I am the Ātman. And I know in a way, I am not going to go, but I don't know this mind and body will go. See, there is a confusion. I want everything. Why? I am the Lord. Yet I behave like a slave. I have seen men bragging with their chest. Oh, I have 56-inch broad chest. And here comes his wife. Choo, choo, choo. Behaves like a mouse. And I don't know what happened to you. I just had a talk with somebody and I said to him that, can you leave the fear of your wife and talk truth? Can you be man enough? Do you know you are a man? You are the head of the family. Can you be man enough and stand up for yourself? And he was behaving like a mouse. A sneaky mouse who went into deep silence. I couldn't answer. Ātman is Ananda. Now, Ananda is not happiness. And Ananda is not an emotion. That was your question. Ananda is not an emotion. Ananda best can be called neither happiness, Priya, Mod, Pramod. These three Vrittis is not Ananda. You know, like, I like you, I love you, I adore you. 3 stages. Like, love, adore. First you like a thing or an object or a man or a woman, a person or an object. First you like it, then you love it, then you adore it, then these things kick you. Because things are meant to be dismantled or die or get separated. Like you have a mind which changes, so they have also a mind which changes. And then you wonder, oh, you used to love me, why don't you love me now anymore? Sorry, how did you had this idea that my love is eternal? Or see, all the lovers are liars. Make this as a statement. Make a t-shirt out of it. All the lovers are liars. Liars should be written in capital letters. Or we can make it little more small and petite. Lovers are liars. Nicer. Right? That's a new t-shirt design. Lovers are liars. Whether they are lover of world or sometime even when they are said, we love you Guruji, it's again a lie. Time and around it will be proven. I can't live without you, can't live without you. That's not true. That's not true. As long as the Priya, Mod, Pramod, Vrittis are formed, something or someone is like love, adore. When this Priya, Mod, Pramod, Vritti is not formed, because why? Not because that person has changed, because your virtuous karmas have died. Hence now this vritti will not be formed. It's a very, very, very thin subtlety which I am talking about, if you can grasp it. People are still same, what they were. But when your own virtuous karma will get exhausted, then maybe you will about to see the reality of that. This person is a deceiver, this person is a liar, this person is this. Why couldn't you see that first? I remember one time a girl brought her husband to me. They came to me to bless us. And when I saw that man, and I actually verbally said it. I was little at distance so they couldn't see me. But I said, what's this? Out of whole world, this is the choice which she makes. And this was her second marriage. But I kind of held my tongue. And I think so that marriage didn't even last for a year. And this gentleman had married this woman just for sake of getting US green card. So it was all lie. And when she came, and she's so proud of wearing that Mangal Sutra again, and she had 2 very grown-up children. And well, that's not my place to say anything to anybody. So okay. But when her maybe should I say when her virtuous karmas exhausted, or should I say her virtuous karmas arose and then she could see what's what? And then they got separated. So Ātman is Ananda, Ātma is not pleasure or happiness or Priya, Mod, Pramod, Vritti. The 5 sheaths are experienced, but beyond and distinct from them, the Ātman is never experienced. Thus, I am the Ātman, beyond and distinct from these 5 sheaths. How does one realize this? Although the 5 sheaths are experienced, it is true that the Ātman which is distinct from this is not experienced. However, how can one deny the existence of the one who experiences these sheaths? Nobody can deny it. Therefore, the distinct witness of the Panchakosha is Ātman. Can you deny you don't have intellect or mind? Can you deny that you don't have senses of action and cognition? Can you deny you don't have a gross body? And the one rule which Sankhya-Darshan gives us is that the knower of the object is separate and distinct from it. The knower and the known are always two. Hence this knowing is happening. If the knower and the known were not two, then how would you know? And whom you would know? So, Anandamaya, kosha, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vigyanamaya, Anandmaya are the objects which are known by you. Hence, you are the Ātman and not this Panchakosha. Last question, what is the nature of Ātman? Ātman's essence can be described as Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat, Chit and Ananda. Please go through these three Vrittis, Priya, Mod, Pramod, and there's a very fine difference in between these three. Liking is one thing. Stillness of the mind, when you get that, is another thing. And when you indulge in it, that's a third thing. So these three different stages of the world happiness. Priya, Mod, Pramod. And these three are just the reflections of the Ātman. It's definitely not the real Ātman, Ananda. And reflections are formed like when the water is still. If the water is moving, then the reflection is not formed. So whenever your vritti gets disturbed, like a woman was all bedecked and beautifully, dressed up and makeup and hair and everything done, and it was their marriage anniversary party and all the guests have arrived, and she wanted to give a bang entry, and husband knocked on the door. Are you ready? She said yes, and she opened the door, and like this, voila, she wanted to just that my husband will be swept away. I'm looking so beautiful and spent so much money on my things which I have done to myself. And when husband saw, his jaw dropped and he said, what did you do to your face? Why are you wearing this khatara, danger color red? And why is this shining so much? Now, what kind of feelings would she have now? She must have overdone enthusiastically. Maybe little overdone. Now she is wearing her best clothes and her diamond jewelry and everything. And yet, will she have a Priya Vritti? Moda Vritti? Or a Pramoda Vritti? Or just one Vritti? Kali! Anger for getting insulted. Kali, so anger is there. So reflect on this, what you have heard today, again and again. And when you use your senses, all the 10, use this intellect and observe. It's a very subtle thing. Intellect is too subtle. To observe when the Priya Vritti, Moda Vritti happens and when it goes away. I have given you the basic understanding, the phenomenal principle or the mechanism with which you experience any happiness in this world through this body, mind or intellect and senses, and why it goes away. But remember that all the virtuous karmas, when arise to give you fruit, that's the time when the possibility of Priya Mod Pramod Vritti can happen. And when that gets exhausted, you have everything. You have best of everything, a penthouse, and yet you jump from that very penthouse to your death. And Ananda, Satyata and Chaitanyata is the very nature of Ātman. With this we come to the end of this particular 4th chapter.